Today is Tuesday, April 21st. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I forgot my name for a second. Oh my goodness. And I am definitely an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we are plugging along Chapter 7, Working with Others. We're on page 97. The 12 and 12 are on Step 12. We'll read page 120. And of course, we'll read the 24 hours a day and daily reflection. So with that, hope y'all are doing well this morning, my friends. Life is good over here. Woke up sober today. And just how much of a blessing is it to wake up and actually remember what you did yesterday, as boring as it might have been at times, and not be panicking because, oh God, what did I say in my blackout? Oh God, or not be having the shakes or a splitting headache, dehydrated. Oh, and then having to work the next day. Oh, that was the worst. How nice it is to wake up sober today. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, my friends, if you recall from yesterday's reading out of the Big Book, Working with Others, we've been talking about how absolutely it is so beneficial to us to help others. But we also have to use some common sense here in not being taken advantage of. And it's not just because, it messes us up, but we're also delaying his or her recovery when we oftentimes enable. It says here, perhaps you'll want to take the man into your home for a few days. Be sure to use discretion. Be certain that he will be welcomed by your family, and that he is not trying to impose upon you for money, connections, or shelter. Permit that, and you only harm him. You're making it possible for him to be insincere. You may be aiding in his destruction rather than his recovery. But once again, we're going to build on the idea that this is an absolute necessity for me to help others, but it is also a blessing. So let's read page 97. Never avoid these responsibilities, but be sure that you're doing the right thing if you assume them. Helping others is the foundation stone of your recovery. A kindly act once in a while isn't enough. You have to act the Good Samaritan every day, if need be. It may mean the loss of many nights' sleep, great interference to your pleasures, interruptions to your business. It may mean sharing your money in your home, counseling frantic wives and relatives, innumerable trips to police courts, sanitariums, hospitals, jails, and asylums. Your telephone may jangle at any time of the day or night. Your wife may sometimes say that she's neglected. A drunk may smash the furniture in your home or burn a mattress. You may have to fight with him if he is violent. Sometimes you'll have to call a doctor and administer sedatives under his direction. Another time you may have to send for the police or an ambulance. Occasionally you will have to meet such conditions. We seldom allow an alcoholic to live in our homes for a long time. It's not good for him, and it sometimes creates serious complications in a family. Though an alcoholic does not respond, there is no reason why you should neglect his family. You should continue to be friendly with them. The family should be offered your way of life. Should they accept and practice spiritual principles, there's a much better chance that the head of the family will recover. And even though he continues to drink, the family will find life more bearable. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Step 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and practice these principles in all our affairs. Now, I don't know why I've never really pointed this out, but it seems like Step 12 in the 12 and 12 is the longest chapter in the book. And that is so true. I mean, we're well into the chapter now, and we still got a few pages left. But we've gotten the recap of the steps here. I believe we've talked about the instincts some more, and even working with others and how we carry this into all of our affairs, which is not always easy. And we also talked about relationships in sobriety and how they can work. But what about the single folks, all you single ladies and dudes? Well, that's what page 120 is all about, at least the first part, and then we talk about money. Here we go, page 120. And what can be said of many AA members who, for a variety of reasons, cannot have a family life? At first, many of these feel lonely, hurt, and left out as they witness so much domestic happiness about them. If they cannot have this kind of happiness, can AA offer them satisfactions of similar worth and durability? Yes, whenever they try hard enough to seek them out. Surrounded by so many AA friends, these so-called loners tell us they no longer feel alone. In partnership with others, women and men, they can devote themselves to any number of ideas, people, and constructive projects. Free of marital responsibilities, they can participate in enterprises which would be denied to family men and women. We daily see such members render prodigies of service and receive great joys in return. Where the possession of money and material things was concerned, our outlook underwent the same revolutionary change. With few exceptions, all of us have been spendthrifts. We threw money about in every direction with the purpose of pleasing ourselves and impressing other people. In our drinking time, we acted as if the money supply was inexhaustible, though between binges we'd sometimes go to the other extreme and become almost miserly. Without realizing it, we were just accumulating funds for the next spree. Money was the symbol of pleasure and self-importance. When our drinking had become much worse, money was only an urgent requirement which could supply us with the next drink and the temporary comfort of oblivion it brought. "24 hours a day, April 21st. AA thought for the day. After we've been in AA for a while, we find out that if we're going to stay sober, we have to be humble people. The men and women in AA who have achieved sobriety are all humble people. When I stop to think that but for the grace of God, I might be drunk right now, I can't help feeling humble. Gratitude to God for His grace makes me humble. When I think of the kind of person I was not so long ago, when I think of the person I left behind me, I have nothing to be proud of. Am I grateful and humble? Meditation for the day. I must arise from death of sin and selfishness and put on a new life of integrity. All the old sins and temptations must be laid in the grave, and a new existence rise up from the ashes. Yesterday is gone. All my sins are forgiven if I am honestly trying to do God's will today. Today is here, the time of resurrection and renewal. I must start now, today, to build a new life of complete faith and trust in God and a determination to do His will in all things. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may share in making the world a better place to live in. I pray that I may do what I can to bring goodness a little nearer to the earth. Daily Reflection, April 21st. Cultivating faith. I don't think we can do anything very well in this world unless we practice it. And I don't believe we do AA too well unless we practice it. We should practice acquiring the spirit of service. We should attempt to acquire some faith, which isn't easily done, especially for the person who has always been very materialistic, following the standards of society today. But I think faith can be acquired. It can be acquired slowly. It has to be cultivated. That was not easy for me, and I assume that it is difficult for everyone else. Dr. Bob and the Good Old Timers, pages 307 and 8. Fear is often the force that prevents me from acquiring and cultivating the power of faith. Fear blocks my appreciation of beauty, tolerance, forgiveness, service, and serenity. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading. And man, some great stuff. I know I repeat myself all the time. It probably drives you all nuts. I know I get tired of it. but great stuff. I could think it's something to talk about in every single one. First of all, the big book. I love this. Helping others is the foundation stone of, I'm going to say, my recovery. A kindly act once in a while isn't enough. Now, I am very guilty of, maybe going to one or two meetings and that's enough. I'm busy and I got all these other obligations and stuff. Obligations are okay. Sometimes these are good things, right? Whether it's, taking my children to a certain sporting event or anything like that, or whatever it might be, a work obligation. But when I put that in front of my sobriety, that's not good. Sometimes I have to say no to good things to say yes to the best things. And honestly, for me, I've noticed the more I dive in to AA and service work, the more serenity I have. And it sounds like I'm BSing you, but I promise you, hand on the Bible, and I've got one right over here, I'm not. That has been my experience. And it says you have to act a good Samaritan every day if need be. Now, the nice thing is, we all work, or most of us work, right? And we're surrounded by people all the time. So yeah, we have the opportunity, one, not just to help the next suffering alcoholic out there or anybody in the fellowship, but also just those about us. That's part of step 12 too, right? Acting the good Samaritan every day if need be. It may mean the loss of many nights' sleep, great interference with your pleasures, interruptions to your business. It may mean sharing your money or your home, counseling frantic wives, innumerable trips to police courts, sanitariums, hospitals, jails, and asylums. And I love what Hilda F. said in the speaker meeting that we shared about a month ago. She said her sponsor, one of her friends in the program, would say, "Hey, welcome to AA. Be prepared to be divinely inconvenienced." And that is so true, but it is so worth it. So worth it. And I love the 12 and 12 too, talking about, folks that maybe don't have families. Can they be happy in recovery? Absolutely. Absolutely. I've seen it. And then the 12 and 12 talks about how, hey, you can get involved in certain things that maybe family folks can't because you have that time to do it. And I've seen where many folks acquire a family through the fellowship by getting so plugged in and feeling part of something that's even bigger than themselves. So 100% yes, there is so much fulfillment in being part of this fellowship and being of service. And the 24 hours a day talking about humility, right? Not pride or going, good job, Rob. Look at you. You're sober XYZ amount of time. Good for you. No. I love this line. When I stop to think that, but for the grace of God, I might be drunk right now, I can't help but feeling humble. Instead of looking at all the things that were missing in my life, I try to look at the things that are going well, the things that are in my life. And sobriety is top of the list. Because without sobriety, I lose everything else. And I remember my good old willpower wasn't enough to get sober. I had to rely on people in the rooms to tell me what worked for them. And I have to continue to rely on people to tell me what works for them, present tense. Because I hear my higher power speak through people, and sometimes they phrase things that hits me in the heart the way nothing else has. And then right here, gratitude to God for His grace makes me humble. Oh, man. And then the meditation, I must arise from the death of sin and selfishness and put on a new life of integrity. A little further down, yesterday's gone. All my sins are forgiven if I am honestly trying to do God's will today. Today is here, the time of resurrection and renewal. I must start now, today, to build a new life of complete faith and trust in God and a determination to do His will, not just in drinking, in all things. Living a life of integrity. If I could pass on anything to my kids, I hope they know that I don't really care what they do for a living. I don't really care about that. I care about who they are, who they choose to be. I hope that I can instill in them. And I guess I need to model this myself. That, hey, be a light. Help other people. And live a life of integrity one day at a time. That's something for me to think about today. And talking about fear, I'm choosing today not to live in fear, but instead to put gratitude in action, to be a doer of the word. But my friend, as always, I don't speak on behalf of AA, NA, Al-Anon, any other sect or denomination. I am just a joyful drunk in this lifeboat of recovery. So honored to be here, April 21st, 2026. And if you were sober today, my friend, I hope you know you're a miracle. And if you're not sober, I hope you know that you're a miracle as well. And I pray that you find the help that you need today, this day. Also, another thing too, please, I love sharing personal stories. That has become one of my favorite things to do. Send us an email, bigbookdaily@gmail.com. I'd love to share your experience, strength, and hope on the podcast. I can read it. And eventually I'm going to find a way to where if you want to share your own story, audio-wise, maybe I can find a way to do like a Google Drive or something where you can upload your story and I will edit that into the podcast. All I ask is that you share your experience, strength, and hope. I always get something out of somebody else's story. But with that, my friends, I've rambled on long enough. I hope you have a great day. And if we're given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.